Someone asks, what are energetic blocks and what to do about them? Well, these energy blocks or energetic blocks are really just our resistance to what is. Could be this mental block, this resistance to a certain idea, certain concept, a certain belief. So there seems to be some sort of mental block. But it's also kind of like, I don't want to hear that. So it's this resistance. There's a resistance to an idea. There's a resistance to a belief. There's a resistance to a concept. There's a resistance to what is being said. So there's a mental block. Now, there could also be an emotional block, an energetic block, energy and motion, emotion. So this emotional block is the resistance to the emotion. It's the resistance to the energy. There's something that's uncomfortable, overwhelming, doesn't really feel good. And then there's the resistance. Well, I don't want to feel that. That's too much. So it's this resistance to the energy. But if we buy into this idea of an energy block, something that's outside of us, standing in our way, an obstacle that's preventing me from something, then you could see what's happening. There's this giving away of our power. You're creating a limitation. You're creating your own obstacle that then you want to overcome. So usually this resistance is actually unconscious. So we're unconscious to this resistance. We're not aware of this resistance. And because we're not aware of the resistance, it kind of feels like we're coming up against a block. Something's in the way. But we're so unaware of that resistance that then we say, well, it's something other than me that I'm coming up against. I'm coming up to this block. It's just right here. I just can't, how do I solve this problem? How do I overcome this? And it's not seeing that actually that's the resistance that I'm creating. That's my own closure. That's my own resistance. Instead of just being open to what is, I'm closing off to what is. Instead of just accepting what is, I'm rejecting what is. Instead of allowing what is, I'm resisting what is. And when that activity of closing, rejecting, resisting, when that activity is unconscious, just meaning that we're not able to see it, then we aren't able to see our own activity. And we want to then blame something else. This emotional block. If it wasn't for this emotional block, I would just be able to feel free. It's this energetic block that's really in my way of feeling free. No. Any block is the block that you are creating. So it's about becoming aware of this resistance. Because if we aren't able to see the resistance continues. By becoming aware of the resistance, we are becoming aware of the block that we are creating. And because we are creating this block, and we are now aware of it, this energetic block is overcome by simply not creating it anymore. Not closing, not rejecting, not resisting. Which means that you're just open to what is. You're accepting what is. You are allowing what is. So there's this uncomfortable emotion, this overwhelm, some sort of turbulence. This is the energy. This is what is. And you see, by just being open to it, by accepting it, by allowing it, there's no block that's created. So there's nothing really to overcome. Because as soon as you stop creating that block, there's no block to overcome. And all there is the flow of energy. There's no block. There's nothing blocking the flow of energy. You see that there's just energy that's flowing. Without closing off to it, without rejecting it, without resisting it, without creating this block, this dam that's damming up, that's blocking the flow of energy. There's just the flow. And you realize that you are the flow. You aren't separate from the flow. There's just the flow. Hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.